When he started, he was alone. Our holy prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be on him, when he came with the message of Islam, there were only few people who decided to support him. No, the most of the people, they would ridicule him. They would make fun of him. They would say, "What are you doing?" They would call him bad names, but there were few people from his family and among his companions who supported him. They were called the Sabiqun. And in Surah Al-Waqi'ah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the Sabiqun. He says, As-Sabiqun, As-Sabiqun. They were the foremost of the foremost, the people who joined when nobody had joined, when our Prophet, peace and blessings be on him, was alone. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the reason why I am sharing you that story is because today on Around the World Storytime, we are bringing a special author to the program. And this author means a whole lot to me because when we started Noor Kids a long time ago, 7 years ago, she was one of our very first supporters. At a time when there was like nobody who supported us, or like, what are they even doing? And they laughed in our faces. No, I'm kidding. They didn't laugh in our faces. But at that time when we had such few supporters, she was one of our first. And so I am just so enthusiastic, so tickled because Allahu Akbar, today she has written such a wonderful book and I cannot wait to show it with all of you today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, join me, Amin Asr, author of Noor Kids, along with Helping Hands for Relief and Development, in welcoming Sister Aya Khalil to our program. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Aya.
Wa alaikum salam. Thank you so much for having me.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, the blessing and the treat is all ours. So Aya, where are you joining us from?
So I'm from Toledo, Ohio.
Toledo, Ohio. Wow, so are you the only Muslim there?
No,
Or
we have a lot of Muslims here. There's a lot of Muslims in Ohio. We're in the Midwest. Several mosques in the area. It's a good community, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Now, Sister Aya, tell us a little bit about now did you is your whole house like Ramadan decorated like this? It looks so beautiful. Tell us, what do you got behind
Yeah,
you?
yeah, we do. We try to go all out during Ramadan, but we were recently just moved, so this is like the only area in the house that's decorated. But yeah, I have my fanus right there, lantern, my Ramadan sign. Um, I know there are a bunch of different shops that I forgot. I know this right here is from Ramadan Around the World. Her name is Nida
Yes,
Hassan.
she was on our program
Oh,
as well. But
wonderful.
I have to tell you, Sister Aya, you got us into a lot of trouble with your background. Oh my goodness. Can I tell you why you got us into trouble?
Why? No,
Well,
why?
because we put these on Facebook and they go like live. So we don't tell people that they're pre-recorded, but in your background it says March 5th at 1:21 p.m. So everyone who's watching this is gonna know.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's not a big deal though. Alhamdulillah. Well, now you know it's pre-recorded. So hey, Sister Aya, I don't want to spend any more time doing, like talking about your background. The reason why everyone is here is because they want to read from your book. So tell us about this book that you've created.
Sure. So this is the Arabic Quilt, an immigrant story. It's based on a true story. Growing up as an Egyptian American, when I lived in North Dakota. So I know you're in Minnesota. I mean, correct?
Yes, I am in Minnesota.
So I used to live right next door.
So
We
you are the only Muslim in North Dakota, then definitely.
probably were.
Oh my goodness. What city in North Dakota?
We were in Minot.
Oh my, I haven't even heard of Minot.
Yeah, it's a couple of hours away from Fargo. I know we used to go to sometimes we used to actually go drive to Minneapolis for like a just for a fun trip and whatnot. So
Yeah. So
we
do
lived there
you do
for
you do you have a good North Dakota Fargo accent? Can we hear it?
no, I don't remember.
Oh,
Most of
sure. Oh, don't you know?
the time I
Oh,
talk, I'm not.
yeah, we're gonna have a hot dish. Oh, sure.
Huh.
Oh, then we're gonna go to your house and park the car, eat from the oven, and Anyways, all right, we'll stop. But I love my Minnesota accent. I take pride in it. I don't bring it out that often, but when I get an opportunity, I do. Okay, so Sister Aya, without further ado, let's go ahead and read out of this. But before I give it to you, I just want to remind our viewers that this program is brought to us in part by Helping Hands for Relief and Development. We want to thank them, especially as we get closer towards these nights of Qadr. And as you think about your zakat, think about Helping Hands as a source, as they are doing so much incredible work internationally. All right, with that, Sister Aya, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
The Arabic Quilt. The illustrator, her name is Anaï Samerjian. So I will just get started.
Looks great.
Okay. Kenzie, Habibti, you're going to be late to the first day of school, Mama calls. I'm coming, Mama. Kenzie stuffs her notebook into her backpack and quickly but carefully folds her quilt, the special one Teta made in Egypt. And Teta means grandma in Arabic. Breakfast is delicious. Egyptian fava beans, homemade French toast, and watermelon with feta cheese and mint. Zakaria has watermelon juice dripping down his chin. He looks happy. I packed your favorite lunch for you, a kofta sandwich, Baba exclaims. Shukran, Baba, Kenzie says. But secretly, she wishes her Baba would pack her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich instead. Her family has just moved to the town, and she doesn't know anyone. She doesn't want to be different. In the car, Mama sings along with the songs on the Arabic radio channel. When they pull up to school, Kenzie turns down the radio volume. Mama gives her a confused look. Good luck today, Mama says. Bahibbik. I love you too, Kenzie responds. In class, Mrs. Hagen asks all the students to share 3 facts about themselves. When it's Kenzie's turn, she says bravely, I am Egyptian American. I love to swim. I love to write poetry. Then she sits looking down at her desk. At lunchtime, Kenzie is surprised when Mama walks through the door. Habibti, which means dear, you forgot your lunchbox. Habibti, like the Hobbit? Isn't your name Kenzie? Molly snickers. Her classmates laugh with her as they walk to the cafeteria. Mrs. Hagen sees tears rolling down Kenzie's cheeks. What's wrong? She asks. Molly made fun of what my mama said, Kenzie replies. Oh, Kenzie, being bilingual is beautiful, says Mrs. Hagen. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed. You are special. That night, as Mama puts leftover shorbat ats, lentil soup, in Kenzie's lunchbox.
Well, hold on, Aya, can you say that one more time?
That night, as Mama puts leftover shorbat ats.
Allahu Akbar. Shorbat Oh my God. How do you spell that?
Oh, well, I just put, that's.
Oh, okay, very good. That's awesome. That is so awesome. I just love it. Sorry, please continue.
In Kenzie's lunchbox, Kenzie gently pats Mama's back. Can you please pack me a turkey sandwich instead? Before bed, Kenzie writes a poem as she hugs her quilt, which smells like Teta's home. There's Kenzie. The next day, Molly says, Mrs. Hagen said I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I laughed at your mom's language. It sounded funny. It may sound funny to you, but that's only because you don't speak Arabic, Kenzie says. She feels a lump forming in her throat. My parents say that learning a different language makes a person smarter and kinder, she blurts out. Okay, whatever.
I don't like Molly. I've decided that. I don't really like her very much. Or not yet, at least. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Think about it. Is her apology sincere or not?
I don't know. She said, okay, whatever. I mean, come on. Let's be real.
Mrs. Hagen calls Kenzie to her desk after lunch. I found this notebook on the floor and it was open to a lovely poem, she says. I was describing my Teta's quilt, Kenzie says. When I visited her in Egypt, she gave it to me. My Teta only speaks Arabic. Mrs. Hagen smiles. That is special. I would love to see your quilt. Can I bring it to school? Kenzie asks. Sure, bring it tomorrow.
Allah.
And there's that lovely quilt. The next day, Kenzie unfolds her quilt in front of the class. Her heart is pounding. This is my quilt that my tita in Egypt made, she says. That's cool. I want to make a quilt just like that. Maybe we can all make one for our classroom, Claire shouts. Mrs. Hagen nods and smiles. On Friday, Mrs. Hagen makes an announcement. I have an exciting project for us all to work on. Kenzie's mom is here to help us make a quilt of all your names in Arabic. As Mama steps forward, Kenzie thinks how beautiful she looks. Shukran. Thank you for welcoming me here, Mama says. Kenzie and I will write down your names in Arabic and you will copy your name on your own quilt piece. Molly is not enthusiastic about the project. Uh-oh. Who cares about Arabic? We live in America. My mom says we should only speak English. In response, Mrs. Hagen starts writing words on the board. Algebra, coffee, lemon, sugar. Does anyone know what these words have in common? They come from Arabic words, Kenzie whispers. Mrs. Hagen nods. Learning other languages, besides the one we grow up with, helps make the world a friendlier place. We can speak non English languages and still be American.
Can I just comment for a moment?
Yeah,
I have had Turkish tea, or I've had like Arabic tea before,
yeah.
and I understand now that sugar was invented in, like it's an Arabic word because I feel like there's so much sugar that's added into the tea. So, anyway, sorry. Sidebar. Okay, please continue.
I wonder what my name looks like in Arabic, Brianna says. Kenzie and Mama write down everyone's names. Neat, shukran, Amina exclaims. Everyone copies their Arabic names onto sheets of colored paper. Then they decorate their papers with glitter and jewels and place them on the table for the glue to dry. On Monday morning, you will see a beautiful class quilt hanging in the hall, Mrs. Hagen tells them. Kenzie is nervous when the bell rings on Monday morning and the kids file into school. What if the quilt didn't turn out nicely? The quilt hangs on the bulletin board outside Mrs. Hagen's classroom. The colorful papers with their Arabic names have been cut into different shapes and sizes.
Whoa, these are amazing sound effects. Are they part of the book, Sister Aya?
Kenzie carries a little Eden app with her
Oh,
description.
nice. That's the best. So just let's take a pause while the adhan's going on. But I'll just say it's so funny because I have the adhan on my phone.
Yeah.
I have the adhan on my phone. Here, I'll just show you like my phone over here. And then it's always like the funniest time. Like I'll be at like Target in line with like my food, and then it's like Allah, and then everyone's like, hold on, what's going?
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So it's 1:30 is Dhuhr there, huh?
Yeah. What time is Maghrib over there?
Maghrib here is at around 8:20.
Okay, so it's kind of
8:20 or
far.
8:30, something like that.
Okay, that's not bad.
What is it for you guys?
Yes, around same like 8:30.
Oh, mashallah. And now, you have multiple kids, right?
Right, I have three kids,
Uh,
7 and a 5-year-old and a 10-month-old.
Now, are any of them doing half day fasts or anything like that right now?
Yeah, my daughter. So there's no school, so she's been waking up and having support. She's 7, and then she just fasts like half day. Sometimes it depends on the day how much
Alhamdulillah.
support she had. But yeah, sometimes until like 1, sometimes 12, sometimes once she fasted until like Asta time.
Nice.
Um, yeah, so it depends.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah, to be a kid again. Like there's some days where I'm like, oh man, Asr, it'd be, but
Yeah.
alhamdulillah, it's such a blessing, and it's a blessing that they're home and that you guys are able to do it together. Um, yeah, we've been doing Ramadan programming every night during the month of Ramadan, and it's been such a treat. It's been such a blessing. So your family actually, like, you used to get our books, right?
Yeah, we still do. Do we? Yeah, I think we got a couple of new ones recently. I forgot from where. Was it? You guys had something in Canada a couple of months ago?
It could have been. Yeah, we were doing a tour in Canada earlier, but alhamdulillah. So it's your 7-year old that likes them?
Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
So it's your 7-year old that likes them?
Yeah, they both do. My 5-year-old also. Like they
Oh,
both
mashallah.
they have like their favorite ones, and
It's
they.
crazy because like it's funny because when we started 7 years ago, like when the orders come in, like we would see the people's names and they'd be like on
Yeah,
a list, and so I was like, oh yeah, Aya Khalil, like of course I know her. She's like one of our first supporters, and I was so excited.
yeah. I think because there's I don't know. My kid's name is Amina. Is there a character named Amina? I forgot. I know there's Amin.
Amira,
Amira. Yeah, that's it.
yeah.
And then there's Hamad, and then Halima's the littlest one. But yeah, they just love it.
So it's so funny, like Uh, who would have thought that we would have been able to spend all this time talking? But now the Adhan is almost finished, so, so we'll be able to get back to the story. Now, as we get back to the story, Sister Aya, you'll have to give us a little bit of a recap, okay? You'll have to give us a little bit of a recap and say, okay, where are we right now? So we will get back in, starting now.
Okay. So we're right over here where the quilt is hanging on the bulletin board. The quilt hangs on the bulletin board outside Mrs. Hoggins' classroom, and there's different shapes and sizes all stapled together. Kenzie stands in awe, reading the names in Arabic. Teachers and older students stop to look at the names, trying to figure out whose name is whose. Wow, look at those beautiful letters. They're like drawings, and those are the names in Arabic, if you can see. So there's like, this is Brianna, this is Lucas. This is actually my handwriting. I sent it to the illustrator. Angela, Amina, and there's Molly.
Leah. Oh, Molly. There we go.
So yeah, think about it. Do you guys think they'll become friends?
I don't know.
That was a really cool project, Kenzie. Shukran. Thank you. Kenzie's classmates tell her. And then there's Miss Molly right here. I'm sorry I made fun of you, says Molly. I didn't realize how important a different language is. Can you write my mom's name in Arabic? I want to give it to her as a gift. Okay, Kenzie says. Do you want to go swimming soon? I'd love to. Kenzie nods as Molly hugs her. So I think that was a sincere apology. If you guys, what do you guys think?
It was a hug, Hug's a pretty big deal.
Leaving class a week later, Kenzie stops to look at the Arabic quilt one last time. Right across from it, she is surprised to see another collage of names in a language she doesn't recognize. Those are my classmates' names in Japanese, Cora says. Our teacher was inspired by your classroom's idea, and she asked me to help write everyone's name in Japanese. Aren't languages a beautiful thing? They can unite us. There's Cora with the Japanese names. Kenzie nods in agreement. In her room that night, Kenzie holds Teta's quilt tightly as she writes a poem for her parents. Shukran, Mama and Baba, for encouraging me to be proud of speaking a different language and speaking it out loud. Languages can unite us together like a quilt, so I will always speak my languages without guilt. I will never be ashamed to speak in this language. It's so unique. And then in the end, it says, Bahebbik Mama, Bahebbik Papa, and that means I love you. And that's it. There's a glossary. The end.
Oh my gosh, that was such a beautiful story, mashallah. That was such a beautiful story. Okay, so Aya, let's read it again. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We don't have to read it again. So, Sister Aya, tell us, is there a child there?
Do you want to say hi? It's brother. I mean, that's the author of the Noor.
Hey, assalamu alaikum.
Live.
Oh my goodness, what is your name?
Amina.
Amina. Oh my goodness, so good to see you. So, Amina, have you ever read any of the Noor Kids books?
Yes.
So, do you know who writes the Noor Kids books?
You?
Yeah, I'm the author of the Noor Kids books, but the reason why we're here today is not to talk about Noor Kids. We're talking about your wonderful mom. Oh my gosh, there's another. Who's this? Salam. What's your name, buddy?
Yeah.
Muhammad.
Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, Muhammad. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Okay, so maybe, how about this, all right? Amina and Muhammad, I want you guys to just hang out for a couple of minutes. Me and your mom are going to play a game, and then maybe you guys can play with us, and I think it'll be a lot of fun, okay?
Okay.
But before we play that game, I need to ask your mama a couple of questions, okay? So, Sister Aya, tell me a little bit about what inspired you to write this book.
Yeah, so I did have a teacher. So the teacher in there that helped Kenzie create the quilt. I had the same teacher who actually did that in North Dakota in Minot. She told me one day, "Why don't you write our classmates' names in Arabic?" And I did. I went home and my mom helped me write it. And the next day, the teacher helped like the kids write them down, and then she hung them up like a quilt. And then I recently, when the book was published, I was able to connect with that teacher from 20 years ago. A friend of ours, she was still in contact with her and she connected us. And I sent her a book and she went to the school and took a picture
Oh my gosh.
of the book. It was really sweet.
What so how old were you at that time? Probably in like what
I, was,
grade?
I think I was in like third or fourth grade. So
Okay, so you're like 9 or 10 years old.
yeah, something like that.
So what impact did that make for you when your teacher like did that?
I just remember that like I was the only Muslim kid in the class, of course. I think it was just me and my brother. We were the only ones in like the whole elementary school, and she was just like I still just remember like how nice she was, and she never like ever said anything mean. And I mean, kids know like when like an adult is, I guess, kind of has some prejudice or
Yeah.
stereotypes you. So I just remember her being like really nice and like understanding, and she's always always encouraged me to.
Do you feel like when she did that make you feel like more comfortable or like
Yeah,
I don't know like I don't know because it's just so heartwarming. I'll tell you, I grew up in Minnesota, not North Dakota, but I was one of the very few Muslims, and that I mean like look, when you talk about drawing from that personal experience to write this book, all of our Noor kids, like the entire concept of Noor kids was drawn from similar, right? Like I remember, man, I used to play baseball, and the friends used to, make fun of my mom because of her hijab, for example. And
yeah,
so when I had one teacher named Miss Serrano, okay, but it was later in life. I was in the 10th grade, and I remember Miss Serrano in 10th grade world history. We had to talk about Islam, and so she asked me to like put together a presentation on Islam, and I was like so like, oh man, I don't know. But she was so supportive, and after that, it like made me feel so. I was like, oh man, all this time I was feeling so awkward and weird, but like, alhamdulillah, this is such a beautiful thing. It's such a exciting thing that if someone were to learn about, they would love. It's not something that they should
yeah, yeah.
have bad feelings towards.
Ashamed or embarrassed about it. Yeah, so I'm glad
So
she
now,
did that.
so now, Sister Aya, I know that families can find this on the New York Times bestseller list, but outside of there, if someone wants to pick up this book, where can they find it?
Sure. So it's like at regular bookstores. So it's like Barnes and Nobles. Check your local bookstore, your independent bookstore, also to help them out. It's on Amazon as well.
Okay. And it's just called The Arabic Quilt.
The Arabic Quilt, yeah, just Google it. You can go on my website also, ayakhalil.com. And there's over
AyaKhalil.com.
there that'll take you there. I have a free educator's guide also.
Ooh.
For
Wow, look at this. Mashallah.
yeah, for teachers or for parents who are at home with their kids. It has a bunch of different like questions and activities, and there's just a lot.
Oh, this is so cool, mashallah.
And also, it's also, brother. I mean, you can also check it out for free on Hoopla digital app. So it's like the library app, and it's a video also. So it's an animated video. So if like you want your kids to watch like a little story like for 10 minutes, like before iftar or
That's awesome.
whenever.
It's called Hoopla. Man, you said free. Now you're talking my language.
Yeah,
All right.
Hoopla digital, and then you create an account though with your library card, and then
So it's so interesting because I think every library is a little bit different because some libraries have a relationship, some don't. But this is really really cool. In my library in Minnesota, we have like a number of pretty cool things. I don't know if we have Hoopla, but I have to look into it. So now here's the thing, Sister Amina,
Yes.
Brother Muhammad, and Sister Aya. I need you guys to each grab a piece of paper and a writing utensil.
see this is chargers.
Okay?
Sure. Where's the charger? Okay. So let's go find a paper and a writing utensil.
Oh man, I should have told you to grab this earlier. So while you're gone, alhamdulillah, That was such a beautiful story. I love that story. It made me think about so much of my own experiences too, and I really appreciate it. It was a beautiful story. All right, so Sister Aya, Sister Aya. So you have a piece of paper and a writing utensil.
Yes.
All right, and does Amina have one too?
She went to get one, but Muhammad has one.
Okay. Does Muhammad know how to write?
He'll try. So he'll be with Amina to write.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So here's what we're gonna do. Okay. This is called Brainstorming Bonanza. All right. And here's the way it works. I'm challenging you. I'm also challenging Amina, and Muhammad, you'll be on Amina's team. All right. Now this is the way it works. I'm gonna put 1 minute on my timer.
Okay.
And over that 1 minute, we have to brainstorm as many, and it's difficult to say that. I'm going to say Arabic names, all right? Arabic names. You have to brainstorm as many Arabic names as possible in that 1 minute. All right, Amina, you got it?
So can we write it in English?
Yeah. Write it in English, but like an Arabic name, like Amina is an Arabic name, or Muhammad is an Arabic name, or Aya is an Arabic name, or Amin is, okay? Now there's one catch, because I know what you're thinking. Amina, you're thinking, Amin, that's not fair. You've been thinking about names all day, so that way you could win this competition. And you know what? You're right. I have been thinking about this all day. So in order to even things out, Amina, I want you to say a letter. And then our job will be to brainstorm Arabic names that begin with that letter or that sound. All right?
Okay.
So, Amina, what letter do you pick?
H.
H. Ooh, all right, H. All right, so you've got your pen and paper, and you have yours as well?
I do.
All right, so I'm putting 1 minute on the clock.
Do I write too?
Yeah, you write too. So we're going to see who can come up with the most names, okay? All right, so we're going to start. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
You can be on my team. Okay?
This is so not fair. I don't speak Arabic. Oh no.
Good, good.
Oh.
I'm not gonna help you.
Okay, we've got 3 seconds left.
Oh, what?
All right, done. Hey, pencils down. All right. So sister, we'll start with you. Amina, how many did you get?
I got 3.
You got 3. Okay, sister Aya, how many did you get?
I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got 2.
You got 2. Okay, so 6 plus 2 plus 3 is how much? It's tough math. 6 plus 2, 8 plus 3 is 11. All right, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, so it's gonna be Amin Asr versus the Khalil family. All right, so let's see what we got. We'll start with Muhammad. Muhammad, what were the names that you got?
So I helped him out, but he has Hannah and Hamza.
Ooh, those are good names. Very good names. Gosh, Hamza, I should have thought of that. Okay, Sister Aya. By the way, announcement: if anyone's having a baby soon, you listen in for some good names that start with the letter H. All right.
Is Hala, Hira, Hussein, Hassan, and then Hamza and Hannah.
Oh, so you also did Hamza and Hannah too.
Yeah, I helped him out. So.
Oh, this is kind of double dipping. So you actually didn't get 11. It's actually kind of closer to 9. Okay, so let's see. All right, let's see. Let's see what's up. Amina, what did you get?
I got Hannah, Hadil, and Habiba.
Ooh, nice. All right, so I got some that are very similar. So I got Hala, I got Hassan, I got Hussein, I got Habib, I got
Oh,
I got Habibti because I don't know if people actually call it like their actual name is Habibti, but like
that does
no,
not count.
okay, all right, fine. I got Hilal, like like the crescent, like okay. And then I don't know if these are real names or not, but I've heard people with the name Hassin. Okay.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay. I got Habil, as in like Habil and Gabil.
Okay.
I got Hatim. I had a friend in high school named Hatim. I got Hasib,
Yeah.
and then I got Hajar.
Yeah. Good. That's a good one.
So yeah, I mean I know they're good because Sister Aya, I'm sorry to report this, but it was so good that I think I may have bested you in this competition,
Yeah,
Sister
I think
Aya.
so. We have 3 Hannas, so it's okay.
Either way, alhamdulillah, it was so much fun. Sister Aya, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank you so much for joining us today on Around the World Storytime.
Yes, thank you. We had a great time. Thank you
The
so much.
pleasure is all mine. Can we see Sister Amina again?
Yeah, I'm gonna say bye to them.
Bye.
Oh man, I can't see her. I think it may be. Oh, there she is. All right, we'll see you later. Assalamu alaikum. Muhammad, we'll see you later. Assalamu alaikum.
Guys, have a good one.
Alhamdulillah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, on behalf of myself, Amin Asr, author of Noor Kids and Helping Hands for Relief and Development, I want to thank you so much for joining us today for Around the World Storytime, where we meet some of the best, most amazing storytellers in our Muslim community. With that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I would love to see you again tomorrow at the same day, at the same time as we are listening to a new story. All right, we'll see you later. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.